Hello viewers, you're welcome the telecast of Potter's House Christian Mission, Ibadan, Nigeria. It promises to be a time of blessing each time we come your way. And I know that the Lord will bless you through this program that is called What Saith the Scriptures. I hope you know that was what terminated the ministry of Elijah. It was this matter that made me to run away from what people call mantle. Mantle of blindness. Mantle of termination of divine journey. He saw what Jezebel said, but he heard what the Lord said. I want to speak freely with you, understanding why you are where you are. This dream itself is a matter to me, and I feel I should call your attention to it. Pharaoh, for the purpose of this discussion, was the king of Egypt. He was the head of all the Egyptians. He was the father of all. He sits atop the administrative affairs of Egypt. Everyone deferred to him. In his majesty, in his palatial palace, he slept. And he had a dream. He saw himself beside a river, and seven female cows came out of the river, and they were feeding in the middle. They were eating the grass beside the river. Lush grass. And the Bible said they were fat-fleshed, well-favored. They ate grass, and they looked good. They looked graced. And as Pharaoh was looking at it, suddenly another 7 female cow came out. And they stood beside these other cows. They were lean-fleshed. They were ill-favored. They look gaunt.
Wọ́n rí wúruwúru.
And Pharaoh will have thought,
Fáráò ìbá sì ti rò ó
it is because this one have not been feeding well.
pé bóyá ń ṣe ni pé torí pé wọ́n rí nǹkan tó dáa jẹ ni.
Then they should also feed in the middle.
Pé ó yẹ kí àwọn pẹ̀lú kan ó lè máa jẹ létí bèbí odò.
Since that is what their colleagues fed
Níwọ̀n ìgbà tó
on,
jẹ́ pé ohun tí àwọn akẹlẹgbẹ́ wọn pẹ̀lú ń jẹ lélẹ̀ tí wọ́n fi dùn ún wò lójú.
and they were all right.
Wọ́n ń ṣe dáadáa.
But instead of these ill-favored cows to eat grass,
Ṣùgbọ́n dípò kí àwọn màálù tí ó rù tí ò sì dùn ún wò lójú yìí kí wọ́n máa jẹ koríko ẹ̀bá odò.
they started eating the other cows.
Àwọn abo màálù méje tó kù òun ni wọ́n náà kò dojúkọ tí wọ́n ń jẹ.
We know that cows are herbivorous animals.
A mọ̀ pé àwọn màálù wọ́n jẹ́ ẹ̀dá ẹranko tó ṣe pé ewéko ni wọ́n jẹ.
They are not carnivorous.
Wọn kì í ṣe ẹranko tí máa ń jẹ ẹran.
But this one
Ṣùgbọ́n àwọn eléyìí
didn't eat grass.
tí ó ń jẹ wọ́n jẹ koríko.
They ate flesh.
Ó jẹ ẹran òun ni wọ́n jẹ.
In fact, live cow like them.
Àwọn màálù tó wà láàyè bí
They
ẹgbẹ́ wọn
ate
ni wọ́n
them
jẹ.
up,
Wọ́n jẹ wọ́n.
and it didn't show that they have eaten.
Síbẹ̀ kò hàn lára wọn pé wọ́n ti jẹ nǹkan kan.
The Bible says,
Bíbélì wípé
so Pharaoh awoke.
Bíbélì wípé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Fáráò jí.
Understanding why you are where you are.
Níní òye nípa ìdí tó fi wà níbi tí o wà.
Excuse me.
Ẹ jọ̀wọ́,
What Pharaoh saw,
ohun tí Fáráò rí
should he take sleep from anybody?
só yẹ kó gba oorun lójú ẹnikẹ́ni ni.
Should Pharaoh lose his sleep
Ṣé ó yẹ
because
kí-
of animals eating themselves?
Só yẹ kí Fáráò má rí oorun sùn nítorí pé ó rí ẹranko tó ń jẹra wọn ni.
The brother that led us in prayers before I came up here
Arákùnrin tó darí wa nínú àdúrà àkọ́kọ́ kí n tó gòkè wá sí yìí.
talked about the famine in Samaria
Wọ́n ń sọ nípa èèyàn èyí tó mú ní Samaria.
and how that famine made people to eat their children.
Ìrìyàn tó mú tó bẹ́ẹ̀ gẹ́ débi pé àwọn èèyàn ń jẹ ọmọ ara wọn.
Now, if it were to be human beings eating themselves, that should take the sleep of Pharaoh.
Tó bá ṣe pé àwọn èèyàn ni wọ́n ń jẹ ara wọn tó ṣe pé ohun tí Fáráò rí leléyìí ó yẹ kó gba oorun lójú ẹ̀.
But for animals,
Ṣùgbọ́n fún àwọn màálù,
what concerns Pharaoh about
kí
animals?
ló kan Fáráò pẹ̀lú àwọn màálù tàbí ẹranko?
It is in their kingdom.
Inú ìjọba tiwọn ni wọ́n ti ń ṣe tó wù wọ́n.
Why bothered about them?
Kí ló yẹ kó mọ ká lára nínú rẹ̀?
He woke up
Ó jí
for some few minutes.
fún ìṣẹ́jú díẹ̀,
His sleep disappeared.
oorun sá lọ lójú ẹ̀.
He himself knew he woke up.
Òun fúnra ẹ̀ mọ̀ pé òun ti jí.
He turned that.
Ó ro eléyìí,
He turned it.
ó ń ro nínú ọkàn rẹ̀.
He couldn't lay his hand upon
Kò
anything.
lè dá ọwọ́ rẹ̀ lé ohunkóhun.
But I was so much touched by the fact that he woke up.
Ó kàn mí gbọ̀ngbọ̀n lọ́kàn pé ó jí.
That he didn't take that for granted.
Pé kò fi ọwọ́ dẹgbẹrẹ mú eléyìí.
He didn't think that they are animals.
Kò rò pé ẹranko lásán ni wọ́n.
They can do what they like.
Pé n tó bá wù wọ́n ni wọ́n lè máa ṣe.
What concerns me,
Pé kí ló kan òun?
I am king over the people,
Ọba àwọn èèyàn lèmi ṣe.
not the king over the animals.
Èmi kì í ṣe ọba àwọn ẹranko.
Whatever happens in the animal kingdom does not concern me.
Ohun tó bá ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ìjọba àwọn ẹranko kò yẹ kó kàn mí.
But this man
Ṣùgbọ́n ọba yìí
woke up.
ó jí.
He tells me
Ó sọ fún mi pé
that he felt this is a concern.
ó mọ̀ wípé ohun tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí ohun tá a kọbi ara sí ni.
In this my kingdom,
Nínú ìjọba mi yìí,
animals
àwọn ẹranko
eating themselves,
wọ́n ń jẹ ara wọn.
it is enough to make me lose my sleep.
ó tó fún mi láti sọ oorun mi nù.
I am thinking in my heart
mo ń rò nínú ọkàn mi
that there are things happening around us
pé àwọn nǹkan wà tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lágbègbè wa
that we do not show concern about,
èyí tí a ò kọ bí ara sí,
and which may in effect make us ineffective in what God has called us to do.
èyí tó lè já sí pé ní ìdẹ̀yìndẹ̀yìn kò ní jẹ́ kí a lè jáfáfá lórí iṣẹ́ tí Ọlọ́run gbélé wa lọ́wọ́.
I feel in my heart
mo ń rò nínú ọkàn mi
that there are things going on around you on campus
pé àwọn nǹkan wà tí ó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní agbègbè rẹ ní ilé ẹ̀kọ́ rẹ
and in your thinking
àti pé nínú èrò tirẹ̀
it is not part of what should concern me,
kò sí lára nǹkan tó yẹ kó múmú láyà rẹ,
and you cannot lose your sleep for that.
pé kò sì yẹ kó o sọ oorun rẹ nù nítorí eléyìí.
I am drawing a very small matter
ọ̀rọ̀ kékeré ó ní mò ń tanná wo ìdí rẹ̀
and I'm going to build on it
wọ́n sì kọ́lé lórí
because the theme of this meeting
torí pé àkórí
is
ìpàdé yìí
sent to preserve life.
pé a rán wa láti gba ẹ̀mí là.
Life,
ẹ̀mí
anything that has life,
ohunkóhun tó bá ti ní ẹ̀mí,
anything that lives,
ohunkóhun tí bá ń mí
sent to preserve.
ń ṣe la rán wa láti gbà wọ́n là.
I will come back to that,
wọ́n padà wá síbi eléyìí tó bá yá.
but I feel I should start from this point.
ṣùgbọ́n mo wò pé ó yẹ kí n bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti agbọn yìí.
I am just introducing this discussion.
mo ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń ṣí ojú wa sí ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ni.
That Pharaoh understood
pé òye yé Fáráò,
that even though he's Pharaoh,
bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé Fáráò ni,
and even though he presides over the affairs of men,
bó tilẹ̀ jẹ́ pé ń ṣe ló ń jọba ní ìjọba àwọn ènìyàn.
there couldn't be an outbreak of epidemic in the midst of animals and he will not be concerned about it.
síbẹ̀ kò ní la ojú rẹ̀ sílẹ̀ kí àjàkálẹ̀ àrùn kó máa ṣẹlẹ̀ ní ìjọba àwọn ẹranko kó sì má kọbi ara sí.
He will not keep quiet when things are happening around him that shouldn't have bothered him and he shows no concern about it.
kò ní dákẹ́ kó rí nǹkan tí ò tiẹ̀ yẹ kó kàn án kó wá gbójú rẹ̀ kúrò ńbẹ̀ kó ṣe bí ìgbà kó wọn ò rí.
That he will not sit on the throne
kò ní jókòó lórí ìtẹ́
and feel that he is doing something
kó wá máa rò pé òun tiẹ̀ ń ṣe nǹkan kan.
when animals that supposed not to eat flesh start to eat flesh.
nígbà tí àwọn ẹranko tí ò yẹ kó máa jẹ ẹran ara tí ò yẹ kó máa jẹ ẹran kó wá máa tó yẹ kó máa jẹ ẹranko kó máa jẹ ẹran.
The Bible says, so Pharaoh awoke.
bíbélì pé bẹ́ẹ̀ ni Fáráò jí.
Will God have tested you
ǹjẹ́ Ọlọ́run àti lè dán ọ wò bí
with something very small
pẹ̀lú ohun kan tó kéré
happening very close
tó sì súnmọ́ ọ
in your church,
nínú ìjọ rẹ
in your environment,
ní agbègbè rẹ?
and God is just wondering,
Ọlọ́run wá ń wò ọ́ tìyanu
can I
tìyanu.
depend on this to preserve life of a nation?
ǹjẹ́ mo á lè sinmi lé eléyìí láti lè gba ẹ̀mí àwọn orílẹ̀-èdè làbí?
Let me allow something small to happen around him,
jẹ́ kí n gba àyè kí nǹkan kékeré kó ṣẹlẹ̀ láyìíká
and
rẹ̀.
let me see how he responds to it.
jẹ́ kí n wò ó bí ó ṣe kọbi ara sí.
If a man does not know why he is where he
tí
is,
èèyàn ò bá lóye nípa ìdí tó fi wà níbi tó bára rẹ̀,
he may waste such small opportunities that will make greater opportunities to come to him.
irú àǹfààní bẹ́ẹ̀ tó lè mú nǹkan lájáde ó lè fojú fò tàbí kó sọnù.
I am just priming your heart.
mò ń pèsè ọkàn rẹ sílẹ̀ ni.
That's what I'm doing in this session.
ohun tí mo ń ṣe yìí
We're about to enter into the mainstream of the discussion for this retreat.
a fẹ́ dáṣẹ̀ wọnú adábù ọ̀rọ̀ tó gbé wa wá síbí.
But I sense I should let you know
ṣùgbọ́n mo ṣàkíyèsí pé ó yẹ kí n jẹ́ kó o mọ̀.
there is a reason for which God has brought you where you are.
pé ìdí wà tí Ọlọ́run fi mú ọ débi tó o dé o.
You are not even sitting at the spot where you are sitting now for nothing.
kì í ṣe pé ibi tó ń jókòó sí o kàn ń jókòó ń bẹ̀ lásán ni.
There are things around you,
àwọn nǹkan wà ní àyíká rẹ.
people around you,
àwọn ènìyàn ní agbègbè rẹ.
doing things,
tí wọ́n ń ṣe nǹkan.
and God is checking your heart
Ọlọ́run wá ń yọjú wo ọkàn rẹ.
to see
láti rí
the response of your heart
irú
towards it.
ìhà tí ó kọ sírùn tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ náà.
Pharaoh awoke.
Fáráò sì jí.
He couldn't continue his sleep for a little
kò
time.
lè tẹ̀síwájú láti sun oorun tó ń sùn mọ́.
Why?
kí nìdí rẹ̀?
Because cows
torí pé àwọn màálù
ate themselves up.
wọ́n ń jẹ ara wọn ní àjẹtán.
Can I read on?
ṣé kí n tẹ̀síwájú?
And he slept and dreamed the second time. And behold, 7 ears of corn came up upon one stalk, rank and good.
ó sì sùn ó sì láàlá lẹ́ẹ̀kejì sì kíyèsí ṣírí ọkà méje yọ lára igi ọkà kan tí ó kún tí ó sì dára.
And behold, 7 thin ears and blasted with the east wind sprung up after them.
sì kíyèsí ṣírí ọkà méje tí ó tínrín tí afẹ́fẹ́ ìlà oòrùn rẹ̀ dànù sì ru jáde lẹ́yìn wọn.
And the 7 thin ears devoured the 7 rank and full ears, and Pharaoh awoke, and behold, it was a dream.
ṣírí méje tí ó tínrín sì mú ṣírí méje dáradára tí ó kún un nìjẹ. Fáráò sì jí sì kíyèsí àlá ni.
I want you to just take note.
mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ ṣàkíyèsí.
He slept again
ó sùn lẹ́ẹ̀kejì
and he dreamed.
ó sì tún láàlá.
In his dream,
nínú àlá rẹ̀
it was not animals but plants.
ní ìsìn kì í tiẹ̀ wá ṣe àwọn ẹranko mọ́ àwọn koríko ni.
He saw 7 ears of corn,
ó rí ṣírí ọkà méje
rank and good,
tí ó sì dára.
and he saw another set,
ó sì tún rí àwọn méje míì
very bad.
tí ò dára.
We have never heard it anywhere
a ò tí ì gbọ́ rí
that corn eats corn.
pé ṣírí ọkà wọn máa jẹra wọn.
Have you heard that before?
ṣé ẹ ti gbọ́ rí?
Pharaoh saw plants. If it were to be animals eating plants,
tó bá ṣe pé àwọn ẹranko ló bá ń jẹ ewéko ni tàbí ṣírí ọkà
that will be all right.
ìbá má ti káni lára.
But corn,
ṣùgbọ́n fún ṣírí ọkà
maize,
àgbàdo
developing teeth
tó wọ́n ń hu eyín
and eating maize,
tó wọ́n ń jẹ àgbàdo gẹ́gẹ́ bí ẹgbẹ́ ara wọn.
in the world of plants,
nínú ìjọba tàwọn ewéko tàbí ti ọkà pẹ̀lú
this is strange.
eléyìí ṣàjèjì.
Pharaoh awoke.
Fáráò tún jí.
The Bible said, behold,
bíbélì pé sì kíyèsí
it was a dream.
àlá ni.
That sound in my ear,
eléyìí ó ń dún ní etí mi.
as if the Bible said, behold,
bígbà tá wípé kíyèsí
it was a message.
pé ọ̀rọ̀ ń bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ tàbí iṣẹ́ ìránṣẹ́ ni.
I am just priming your heart.
níṣẹ́ ni mò ń pèsè ọkàn yín sílẹ̀.
for what will form our discussion
èyí tí ó ṣe bí àtẹ̀gùn fún ọ̀rọ̀ tá ó máa sọ
in this retreat.
nínú ìpàgọ́ yìí.
If I ask you,
tí n bá bi ọ́ léèrè
what are the strange news you have heard in recent times?
pé kí ni àwọn ìròyìn tó ṣe àjèjì tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ gbọ́ láìpẹ́ yìí,
Maybe you should tell me 1, 2, or 3.
bóyá ó lè sọ bíi méjì tàbí sí mẹ́ta fún mi
In recent times,
láìpẹ́.
what are those things you heard
Kí ni
that
àwọn nǹkan náà?
appear strange?
kí ni àwọn nǹkan náà tó ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ gbọ́ tó dàbí ìgbà kó ṣe àjèjì?
This one, we didn't hear about it before,
pé tẹ́lẹ̀ àìgbọ́rù nǹkan báyìí
but now it's happening.
ṣùgbọ́n ní ìsìn ó ti ń ṣẹlẹ̀.
My heart,
ọkàn mi
if I leave it open,
tí mo bá ṣí sílẹ̀
we are going to be dazed
yóò yà wá lẹ́nu
as touching strange things happening around us.
nípa àwọn ohun àjèjì tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àyíká àti agbègbè wa.
But the question I will ask is,
ṣùgbọ́n ìbéèrè tí wọ́n béèrè ni pé
when you heard those things,
ńgbà tó gbọ́ àwọn nǹkan yìí
what did you do?
kí ló ṣe ń pa ẹ̀?
When you heard that ladies were sleeping with one another in the hostel on campus,
nígbà tó gbọ́ wípé àwọn obìnrin ní ilé ẹ̀kọ́ rẹ wọ́n ń bára wọn ní àṣepọ̀, kí ló ṣe ń pa rẹ̀?
what did you do?
kí ni nǹkan tó ṣe?
You just shrug your shoulders
ọkàn ru èjìká ẹ̀ sókè
and then you continue.
ó sì ń bá tirẹ̀ lọ.
You seem not to know why you are where you are.
ó dàbí ìgbà pé o ò sì mọ ìdí rẹ̀ tó fi wà níbi tó wà.
You are thinking you are just there for nothing.
ò ń rò nínú ọkàn rẹ pé o kàn ṣáà wà ń bẹ̀ sáà ni.
God made you to hear.
ọlọ́run gbà ọ́ láàyè kó o lè gbọ́.
Behold,
kíyèsí
it was a message.
ọ̀rọ̀ ń bẹ́ẹ̀ o.
There was no office, the kind that Joseph occupied in Egypt before then.
kò sírú ọ́fíìsì tí Joseph tó wọnú rẹ̀ ní ilẹ̀ Íjíbítì tẹ́lẹ̀ kó tó di kó débẹ̀.
A necessity created that office.
ohun àìgbọ́dọ̀ má ṣe òun ló fà á tí a ṣe dá ọ́fíìsì náà sílẹ̀.
It was a response to a matter.
ìkọbiara sí ọ̀ràn kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ni.
And you don't understand
kò sì yé wa
that your idleness,
pé àìní ìjákunra rẹ,
your joblessness,
àìníṣẹ́ rẹ,
your lack of employment.
pé àìníṣẹ́ lọ́wọ́ rẹ.
Now, just watch the way I put it.
ẹ máa wo bí mo ṣe ń tò.
It's not because there is economic recession in Nigeria.
kì í ṣe pé torí pé ètò ọrọ̀ ajé wa dorí kodò.
It is because you refuse to respond to a matter you ought to respond to.
nítorí wípé o kọbi ara sí ní tó yẹ kó o kọbi ara sí ni.
An office will have emerged.
àbá ti dá ọ́fíìsì kan sílẹ̀ nítorí tiẹ̀.
You could have responded to the sisters who are sleeping with one another.
ọba ti kọbi ara sí àwọn arábìnrin tí wọ́n ń bára wọn sùn.
You will have gathered a prayer team
ọba ti kó àwọn tó lè gbàdúrà papọ̀.
and will have gathered people that will reach out to the ladies in the hostel.
ọba sì ti kó àwọn èèyàn jọ tí wọ́n lè bá àwọn arábìnrin tó wà ní
And
hostel
a
sọ̀rọ̀.
fellowship for sisters will have arose.
àwọn àkójọpọ̀ àwọn obìnrin tí wọ́n ń ṣèpàdé papọ̀ ìbá ti dìde.
And nobody could have known what that will have led to.
ọlọ́run nìkan ni kò sẹ́ni tí a lè sọ ohun tí ò bá ti dà báyìí.
But because
ṣùgbọ́n nítorí pé
we couldn't understand
pé òye wa
why we are where we are,
ìdí tí a fi wà níbi tí a wà.
we feel it is just one of those news that flies around.
àwa wò pé ọ̀kan nínú àwọn ìròyìn tí máa ń tàn káàkiri náà ni.
No.
kò rí bẹ́ẹ̀.
Am I making sense to you?
sọ ohun tí mò ń sọ yé wa.
I told you is to prime your heart.
Mo ń sọ fún wa pé láti múra ọkàn wa sílẹ̀ ni.
It is simply to create an awareness in your heart
Láti jẹ́ kí ó wà lọ́kàn wa ni.
that things happening around us,
Pé àwọn nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àyíká wa.
they are pointers to offices that we need to occupy.
Pé wọ́n ń tọ́ka sí àwọn ọ́fíìsì èyí tó yẹ ká jókòó sí.
They are pointing to jobs opportunity.
Wọ́n ń tọ́ka sí àwọn àǹfààní iṣẹ́ tó wà ńlẹ̀.
They are pointing to assignments that God has brought to us.
Wọ́n ń tọ́ka sí àwọn iṣẹ́ tí Ọlọ́run ti fi lé wa lọ́wọ́.
Maybe it was not in the plan of Ahasuerus to have a governor in Judah.
Bóyá kì í tiẹ̀ ṣe kò sí nínú èròǹgbà ọba Asuweresi láti yan àwọn gómìnà nílẹ̀ Judah.
But as Nehemiah responded to the news from Judah,
Ṣùgbọ́n bí Nehemiah ṣe kọbi ara sí ohun tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí,
and he cried,
ó sì ké pe Olúwa,
and he mourned,
ó sì sọkún,
and he fasted,
ó sì gba àwẹ̀.
just because of news he heard about Judah.
Nítorí ìròyìn burúkú èyí tó gbọ́ nípa Judah.
And the king said, so for what does that make requests?
Ọba sì kọjú sí wípé kí ni díẹ̀ kí ni ìdí tó wá fi ń béèrè.
Kí ló fẹ́?
Kí ló fẹ́ gan?
What do you want?
Kí ni nǹkan tó fẹ́?
And Nehemiah said, if it pleases the king to send me to Judah,
Ó sì sọ fún ọba pé tó bá wu ọba láti lè rán mi lọ sí
to
ilẹ̀
go
Judah,
and build the city of my father's sepulchres,
láti lè kọ́ àwọn odi ilẹ̀ bàbá mi,
and to rebuild the gates thereof that are burned with fire,
láti lè tún àwọn gbọ̀ngàn lé bàbá mi kọ́.
I will go.
Mo lọ.
I sense in my spirit
Mo ṣàkíyèsí nínú ọkàn mi
that offices you never imagine exist around you.
àwọn ọ́fíìsì tó o mọ̀ pé ó tiẹ̀ ń bẹ láyìíká rẹ̀.
When you were born,
Nígbà tá a bí ọ,
you were born with the intention to solve problems.
a bí ọ pẹ̀lú èròǹgbà láti jẹ́ ẹni tó ń wá ọ̀nà àbáyọ sí ìṣòro.
This program was brought to you by Potter's House Christian Mission, Bedford, Alata Village, off Ijebu-Ode, Ibadan Road, Adebayo Idiayinre, Ibadan, Nigeria. We believe that the Lord has richly blessed and challenged your heart by today's telecast. For further inquiries, prayers, and counseling, please contact us on and God bless you.